Welcome to Xtra presented by VDG Sports. I'm your host, Vince Douglas Gregory. No filter. Very censored. I know exactly where I would like to go and where to end up. Noobs, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for tuning in, even if it's for a tenth of a second, even if it's for 1 minute or somewhere in between or somewhere longer out. If you give me the full time, thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciated. I wanted enough time to go by before I brought this up. Because, Regs, you already know that I enjoy being cold and I enjoy the cold weather. I don't like sweating. I don't like it being unbearably hot because you can only take so many clothes off before you are being exposing yourself indecent. And then you get in trouble and then you have to register as different stuff. It's just not good for anybody. It's just not good for anybody. And you can only take so many clothes off. You can only take so many clothes off before things start getting messy and before you start getting in trouble. And I just don't like to be uncomfortable like that. If I'm going to be uncomfortable, I'm going to be uncomfortable shivering, being cold, because I can always add more clothes. I can always put more on and not get in trouble. Put more on and be okay. And that's basically what it is. Regs, we back at it again. Regs, we do what we do. Regs, this feels and seems like every single day, but it's not every single day. We got this special, we got this unique bond that we share. Sharing is caring. 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 1 decade. Somebody's going to come up with what the call is. But until then, we're just going to keep doing what we do. And we're just going to say it's extremely unique and special. And the thing about the air, I do run my air when I'm inside the G-Ride, when I'm singing, when I'm dancing, I'm making my chest pop, I'm doing what it do. I'm just having myself a good grand old time because that is one of my happy places. It's not the happy place, but it's one of them. It's somewhere I can just go and just let loose, go and just be super, yes, duper aware of my surroundings. I can let gut feelings, I can let intuition just run amok. I can just let them take control and do what they need to do while I focus on doing what I need to do. And that's singing, and that's dancing, and that's doing a 2-step, and that's making my chest pop. And that's just maybe in discovery mode or maybe in super serious mode. It just all depends. It just all depends on the situation and what's happening and what's going on when it comes to that in the G-Ride. But outside the G-Ride, if I'm in my residence, I don't really run the AC like that. I did this time for the first time ever because it was just that hot. I did for the first time ever because it was just that hot. But here's the thing. Here's the punchline. Here's the joke. It was still hot. The thing just ran and ran and ran and ran. That's the AC, by the way. And it was so hot. It was so hot that running the AC and having it on, 50-ish degrees or something, somewhere around there, something super low so it never turns off and can just stay on all the time. It felt like it was just blowing hot air. But it wasn't blowing hot air. The air was cool coming out. But it was so hot. And it was just so steamy. It was just so dry, and all the other things that I can just throw out there that hopefully formulating some kind of picture in your mind of how hot it was. The air just felt hot. Sure, it was cooler. Sure, it was cold. But as soon as it was out and about, A couple of seconds later, it just felt hot. A couple of seconds later, it just felt hot. And I was saying to myself, this is defeating the purpose. This thing's supposed to light up the entire house. This thing is supposed to make it that degrees that I set it in the entire house, in the entire place. But it wasn't doing that. All it was doing was just running and eating up AC, eating up energy. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm not falling for the okie doke. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. I'm not falling for any of that. So that's when I went and I got me a fan. I went and I bought me a fan, and this fan was amazing. This fan did everything that I wanted my AC to do, but it didn't do. But here's the kicker. I enjoyed and I love that fan so much that I overdid it. I enjoyed that fan so much that I overdid it. I ran it 20 hours. Wait a minute. About 18 hours, about 16 to 18 hours on average, just constantly just running it. And it worked too. It worked. The air that came out of that felt cold. The air that came out of that felt good. The air that came out that just made me feel like that I was in my happy place, singing, dancing, making my chest pop without having to worry about other vehicles or without having to worry about my awareness game being on level maxed out because I'm dealing with people in traffic. But I'm at home, not going anywhere, just maxing, relaxing, and chilling inside, trying to be cool. Some of you get that. Some of you got that. Others who didn't or don't, I suggest you go back and you review some of the historical documents. I suggest you turn on your television or you go onto interwebs and you look it up and you put those words in exactly. And then you will be greeted with a surprise. Then you would be greeted with a surprise. You're welcome. But don't worry. This isn't a judge zone. I'm not judging. I'm just trying to help you along. I'm just trying to help you out. Because you could have just raised your hand. You could have just asked the person next to you. You could have just waited and did all of this on your own and figured it out eventually. But I needed to throw some Vince's tips. I needed to throw some context clues. I needed to just steer you in the right and proper direction when it came to that. But I love this fan. I enjoyed this fan. And they say you can't get too much of a good thing. Yeah, I agree to a certain point. But I couldn't get too much of that fan. That fan could have just ran as long as I'm in front of it, and as long as I needed, which was pretty much all the time. And that's the thing. And that was the thing. Needing it as much as I did, using it as much as I did, that just burnt the little puppy out. And not a real puppy, peeps. Not a real puppy. Not a real animal. No animal or anything was harmed in making this production. No animal or anything was harmed in making this production. I'm just not even making something up. I'm just saying what it was like. It's like a saying. It's not a seance. Let's not get that twisted either. But it's something you say. It's almost kind of like a as if situation. It didn't work anymore. I burnt up the motor, and I knew that the motor was burnt up in it because I did plug it back in, and then I did turn it back on, and that was the white smoke. It was a poof. It was the white smoke followed by the smell. The white smoke followed by the smell, and then there was like this little spark. And that's when I knew that I couldn't do this again unless I was prepared. I couldn't do that again unless I was prepared for the outcome. And that was worst case scenario. Like making sure that I have all of the objects, making sure that I have all of the things that I want to take with me when my place is up in flames burning, that I want to take with me to get out because there's a fire. It was that level. It was that next level kind of situation where I can never, ever plug this in again, or that is the outcome. The next outcome, the next step is this thing is going to be lit. Like really, really lit. And not the litty lit, but the lit. And I don't think I want to go that direction. I didn't want to go that direction, and I haven't want to go that direction. So I never, ever plugged it in again. I haven't. I'm thinking about getting another one because my warranty pretty much ran out. I let my warranty lapse on that. But it worked so good. It was so useful. It was so amazing. And amazing's my favorite word. It was so amazing. It did its job. It did a better job than the actual AC. It did a better job than the actual ceiling fan. It did a better job than my actual other fan that I had and have been having for 5+ years. The only thing that's got to work on, the only thing that I can't trust it to do, and that's survive one summer. It didn't survive the summer. It didn't survive the summer, but I know what you're thinking. But what about, isn't there a year warranty on this? No. There's not a year warranty. I think it was anywhere from 30 to 90 days, somewhere up in there. It didn't make the summer. It made 4 months or so. But as you know, and as the rest of the world know, summer lasted forever. Summer is still here. There's really no winter. There's just some cold days. There's some days where it just snows. There's some days where it just freezes. There's just some days where it just ice over, but it's still summer. Summer is 365. Summer is 365 and it's here to stay. And I can verify that because I am sweating right now. I am sweating right now because it's so hot. I'm sweating right now because I don't have my machine. I'm sweating right now because it ain't no such thing as winter. It ain't no such thing as fall. It ain't no such thing as spring. It's just summer all the time with a few days here or there to just break up the monotony of it. And it just goes right back to being warm. It just goes back to being hot. It just goes back to being nice. It just goes back to temperatures that require you to turn on AC, turn on fans, turn on something to cool yourself down because it is hot. Man, I miss that fan. I really miss that fan, and it's time for a replacement. It is time for a replacement, and I'm going to need to get that replacement ASAP. I'm going to have to stop procrastinating on that and just go ahead and get it, and just go ahead and get me another one too, and just go ahead and get me another one, and hopefully 3 can get me through a year because summer's forever. It's 365. Prove otherwise. Prove me otherwise. Thank you, noobs, for sticking around. Thank you, noobs, for sticking around. This episode is not, I repeat, not being sponsored by VinceDouglasGregory.com. VinceDouglasGregory.com is where you can keep up with me, my whereabouts, my well-being, all things Vince, and all things in between. Check out the website as well. Xtra.vdgsports.com. That is xtra.vdgsports.com. There's a YouTube as well. VDG Sports. Like, subscribe, share, basically do whatever it is you do there. Comment if you must, comment if you may. Regs, you know what time it is. Regs, you know what time it is. Thank you once again. Thank you. And it's time to say peace out. Still not doing it. Still not doing it.